History has witnessed countless wars, but a nuclear war is a nightmare, where there are no winners, only survivors, if any. So what if, one day, Israel or Iran were hit by a nuclear strike and wiped off the map? How would the world react to such a scenario? Who would survive and who wouldn't? This video explores the catastrophic possibilities. What if Israel were annihilated by a nuclear attack? What if Iran were leveled by a nuclear bombardment? Scenario 1. What if Israel were wiped off the map? Early morning, a flash lights up the skies above Tel Aviv. Within minutes, the city is gone. Then Haifa, then Jerusalem. Several nuclear warheads, confirmed to have originated from Iran, obliterate the entirety of Israel within seconds. Israel's advanced defense system's Iron Dome, David's sling are powerless against the velocity and scale of a nuclear strike. The nation activates its retaliatory capabilities. Known as the Samson option, it's a doctrine based on taking the enemy down with you in the event of total destruction. Targets across Iran, Syria, Lebanon, and even parts of the Gulf are hit in return. The Middle East becomes a nuclear inferno. The US, NATO members, and even China hold emergency crisis summits. The annihilation of Israel sends shockwaves through the Western world. Panic erupts among Jewish communities. In the global diaspora, the United Nations launches the largest diplomatic effort in its history, but it's already too late. Radiation clouds drift toward the shores of Europe. The unimaginable has happened. After the Holocaust, humanity swore never again now. Synagogues across the world mourn in silence. The US, Germany, and other nations begin special immigration programs for displaced Jews. But the world is no longer the world we knew. Israel's destruction is not just a physical catastrophe. It echoes in the collective memory of the Jewish people as the collapse of an entire civilization. The loss of Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, and Haifa is more than geographic. It's the erasure of sacred sites and historical identity. Some ultra-Orthodox groups interpret the event as a divine test, while secular Jews feel utterly abandoned by the world. In the United States, Jewish communities organize massive protest, and the idea of a new Israel begins to circulate among some circles. But deep down, everyone knows, nowhere else can ever replace that land. Energy routes in the Middle East collapse. Oil prices skyrocket to over $300 per barrel. Iran's retaliation leads to the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. Global supply chains spiral into chaos. Markets crash, gold hits record highs, and panic buying erupts worldwide. World War III is no longer just a theory. Scenario 2. What if Iran were wiped off the map? Midnight, a blackout sparks fear in the streets of Tehran. Suddenly, the sky turns brighter than day. Relying on intelligence reports that Iran is close to developing nuclear weapons, Israel launches a preemptive nuclear strike. Tehran, Qom, Isfahan, and Natanz are targeted. Within hours, Iran is reduced to ashes. The Iranian leadership is physically obliterated. The command structure of the Revolutionary Guard collapses. Yet automated missile systems trigger chaotic counterattacks on Israel. Hezbollah, Houthi rebels in Yemen, and Shia militias in Syria respond immediately. A full-scale, multi-front regional war begins. Many nations condemn Israel for using excessive force, but they also cite Iran's nuclear ambitions. Russia and China voice strong opposition, while the US openly backs Israel. The UN Security Council meets, but veto powers prevent any resolution. The United Nations becomes functionally irrelevant. Much of Iran's 80 million population is wiped out. Waves of Iranian refugees flood neighboring countries. Sectarian conflict between Sunni and Shia Muslims intensifies. The Islamic world is plunged into shock and grief. Regimes fall, and new extremist movements rise from the ashes. The destruction of Iran creates a profound religious and cultural vacuum in the Shia world. The city of Qom, once the theological heart of Shia Islam, is gone, leaving countless religious authorities without leadership or direction. The Iranian people suffer not only physical devastation, but also a deep spiritual collapse. The few survivors blame the regime's nuclear ambitions for bringing about the country's annihilation, triggering waves of outrage. On one side, calls for vengeance erupt under the banner of Shia identity. On the other, a younger generation begins laying the foundations for a new more peaceful interpretation of Islam. In countries like Lebanon, Iraq, and Bahrain, the absence of Iran creates a dangerous power vacuum. Among Shia communities, one that extremist factions are quick to exploit. Iran's disappearance destabilizes Gulf economies. Oil and natural gas prices soar to unprecedented levels. China and India face major crises. Global boycotts against Israel begin. Meanwhile, the U.S. expands its military presence across the Middle East. The world is now divided irreversibly. Both scenarios lead to one truth: no one wins. The entire world loses. The erasure of a nation is not just a geographical loss, it's historical, cultural, and human devastation. Nuclear weapons don't just destroy the present, they annihilate the future. This isn't a scenario anyone wants to see come true, but it's a scenario we must talk about before silence becomes the last sound we hear. Can the world actually prevent a war like this? Let us know what you think in the comments.